Hey guys, welcome to Fit Files. My name is Dustin Holston, and here are the topics. Accelerated weight loss. How much can you lose, and what steps you should take to maximize your weight loss. And a very popular diet, intermittent fasting. We're going to talk about the benefits of it and what other health benefits this diet may have for some people. So whenever I work with clients, one of the main goals I have is to help them lose as much weight as possible healthy-wise, while giving them the results they want. You know, nothing's better for your motivation, especially when you're trying to lose weight, than to actually lose weight. So, I have a several-step journey on how I suggest to my clients to lose weight as fast as possible. This is my Dustin's accelerated weight loss plan. So first, we're going to start off with water. So a lot of us hold an excessive amount of water weight. This is because many of us, before we start dieting, we're still eating a lot of enriched flour. We're still eating white bread and white rice, and we're drinking sodas, Coca-Colas, and Pepsis. We're eating Little Debbie cakes, and so that's an abundance of simple sugars that get retained in our body. So, as I'll mention in the second one, we're going to eliminate those simple sugars, but each gram of carbohydrates holds 3 grams of water. So we have a water hormone in our body, and basically the way it works is when we're not around a whole lot of water, if we don't drink a whole lot of water, our body starts holding on to the water. So if you're eating a whole lot of carbs and you're not drinking that much water, you're going to get bloated. You're going to get that nasty effect. Bloat is actually dangerous, so we're talking about high blood pressure and swelling and all kinds of nasty stuff. So we want to get the bloat off anyway. So I have my clients start drinking at least 100 ounces of water a day. If they're on fat burners or they sweat a lot, we push it over a gallon. That's going to get the body enough water that it tells the hormone, it's okay, let's release this excess water, this bloat. So they're going to lose water weight, and they're going to lose it really fast, which is fantastic. And some people out here, oh, it's only water weight. You lost 6 pounds. Who gives a crap? You lost 6 pounds. Your body didn't need that water weight. That water weight is dangerous, so we want to get it off fast. I've had clients lose 10 to 15 pounds in a matter of a week to a week and a half just because they were holding that much bloat. Great thing about water, it's also an appetite suppressant. So if you drink it, studies show time after time again, if you drink a glass of water right before a major meal, you eat less. And that's because you got something on your belly beforehand. Also, when you're dehydrated, the body decreases the metabolism. It starts focusing on other bodily processes like staying alive. A little bit more important than weight loss at that time. So if we increase our water consumption, it actually allows the body to increase metabolism and start focusing on fat burning. The second step, we're going to eliminate those simple sugars. One, because they do cause the bloat. Remember, 1 gram of carbohydrates holds 3 grams of molecules of water inside your body. Basically, if you eat 250 grams of carbohydrates, talking about sugars and such, you're going to add 750 grams of water to your body. That's 2.2 pounds in just by eating 250 grams of carbs. So we're going to reduce those. Now, all carbs hold water. So whether it's whole grains or not, and I don't want you to eliminate whole grains. I want you to enjoy whole grains. We're talking about from starches like sweet potatoes to brown rice to whole grain bread to plenty of other options. I'm not telling you to eliminate all of them. I'm telling you to eliminate the high sugar content ones, or the ones like enriched flour, like white bread, that do get easily converted into sugars because they're not complex carbs. Also, more often than not, especially people around here, and it's affecting our kids too, is insulin-dependent diseases. So many kids and young adults, along with us other adults, are struggling with insulin resistance. We're talking about PCOS. It's attacking our teenagers. Polycystic ovarian syndrome. We're learning that is an insulin-resistant disease. We're talking about type 2 diabetes. We're talking about pre-diabetes. All of these will help you struggle, make you struggle with weight gain. It's going to maybe cause issues with infertility, which we're going to talk about that later today. Might struggle with numerous other conditions. So when you eliminate the simple sugars, the blood sugar effect that you have lowers and dampens. You don't have to use as much insulin, and some of these symptoms will go away or will prevent you from having these symptoms in the future. Third, we want to increase protein. I suggest at least 30% of our diet come from protein calories. There was a study a couple years ago called The Power of Protein, a key to obesity, weight loss, prevention. It was a 12-week study, and what it learned is that people put on two different diets, whether it was a high-protein diet, like the folks in this study, or the placebo group that was just put on a similar diet, which was higher in carbohydrates. The folks who ate the high-protein diet consumed 441 calories less per day. And that was because they felt full. So we're talking about a decrease in appetite. The other crazy thing about this study was just in 12 weeks, the group that had the high protein lost 12 additional pounds versus the group that had the higher carb diet. So, protein really does work. There's numerous studies that say that. Another study from 2004 showed that increases in metabolism with higher protein diets than higher carbohydrate diets. So our metabolism's increasing, so we're burning more calories, and at the same time we're eating less, just like the previous study said. Another really cool study was one from 1999, and it kind of proved the other study about eating less. But we also learned that it also kind of reinforced the idea that calories aren't calories. I know a lot of people say, well, it doesn't matter where you get your calories from because calories are calories. And it's true, calorie is a unit of energy. However, the process in which what it does for the body is different. People that ate a high protein diet with the same amount of calories as a low protein diet lost 43% more body fat. So let me repeat that. Studies showed that those who eat a high protein diet versus those that eat a high carb diet, even though they eat the same amount of calories, the folks that eat the higher protein diet lost 43% more fat. So we know that it keeps you fuller longer, you're going to eat less calories. We know that you actually lose more body fat with a high protein diet, and we know that it also increases the metabolism. All of these are extremely vital for accelerated weight loss. Fourth topic, activity. And so with activity, I always tell my clients there's nothing better than a mixture of cardiovascular activity. So whether you're doing cardio or HIIT training or just walking around the neighborhood or chasing your kids or the dog or whatnot, with resistance training. So this can be weights, it can be resistant tubes, this can be body weight style exercises. Maximize weight loss. Weight loss study by Wake Forest in 2017 showed the importance of muscle mass with weight loss. So what it basically showed is it took a lot of elderly and older clients or patients, and some of them were put on a restricted diet with just cardio, and some were put on a restricted diet with resistance training, and some were just put on a diet itself. And basically, cardio alone actually ate some of the muscle mass for these patients, where the folks who worked out preserved more muscle mass. Why is this important? Because muscle increases resting metabolism. You can burn more calories the more muscle you have. So the key is to combine cardiovascular activities with resistant training so you're getting the best of both worlds. You're burning those calories with cardio and you're saving and building muscle, which will actually help you burn more calories in the long run. There's also a condition called EPOC, exercise post-oxygen consumption, and it really only happens with the resistance exercises, where your body actually burns more calories once you leave the gym or you quit the activity because the body has to go back to normal. Basically, you're all pumped up and you're breathing hard and your muscles are flaring and your blood pressure's, your blood's pumping through your bodies. The process of going from there to back to your normal rested state even burns more calories. So between EPOC and weightlifting, preserving the muscle, and cardio, we're going to maximize the amount of calories we can burn now and for the future, because we're going to build that muscle which burns fat at rest. 5, last but not least, setting goals and following up on them. So when I set goals with a client, I say, hey, you're going to, the goal's X pounds this week, X pounds this month, X pounds in 3 months, X pounds in 6 months, X pounds in 12 months. And we kind of talked about this a little bit on the last show, but setting those goals and reevaluating them, what went good, what went bad, why we didn't hit their goals. Sometimes we did everything right. We just didn't lose the weight we want, and that's fine, but we got to see what's going on. Maybe we need to measure and see if there was body fat changes. Muscle, a pound of muscle and a pound of fat weigh exactly the same, but fat takes up 20% more room. So because of that, you may not lose weight, but you may have lost a lot of body fat. So we got to look at it. But set your goals, evaluate as you hit your goal time frame. So at the end of the month, hey, I wanted to lose 10 pounds. I lost 5. What happened? Well, I wasn't that great on my diet. Well, for the next month, we're going to lose 10 pounds. We're going to focus on our diet. And then follow up with it throughout the process. Make new goals. Say you smash your goals. Well, then make bigger ones in the future. If I wanted to lose 100 pounds this year and I lost 75 in the first 6 months, sounds like I can do more than 100. Or maybe I just need 100 and I'm going to set goals. Hey, I'm going to try to run a 5K, or I'm going to try to bench 250 pounds this year. Keep pushing yourself. The mind is a crazy place. You can really push yourself and self-motivate. Results. So, like I've said before, I've had some clients lose a huge amount of weight really fast. I've had clients lose 151 pounds in 12 months. I've had numerous clients lose over 100 pounds in 12 months. To me, that's accelerated weight loss. What did they do? They stayed consistent. Every single day, you got to say, hey, I'm doing this for my family, I'm doing this for me, and I got to do it. So, you're going to get people at work tempting you with pizza, or, hey, let's go out for drinks afterwards. If your goal is to lose weight, that needs to be your number one goal in your life. Now, I want you to have a cheat meal. I want you to enjoy life, but too often, it's not one day a week you get offered a cheat meal. It's 7 days a week, multiple times a day. So it's got to be able to turn down those and remember, hey, look, I got blinders on. My focus is this weight loss. It's about going to the gym even though you don't want to. I always tell people, if you don't feel like going to the gym, get in your car and drive to the gym. Because you're going to get out of the car and you're going to go to the gym. And whether it's the best workout you've ever had or the worst workout you've ever had, you made it to the gym, you burned additional calories. Give yourself a pat on the back. So how much weight's possible? I've had people lose 20 pounds in a month. I've had people lose 75 pounds in 6 months. Actually, I think Kim, my biggest loser, was down, I think in 7 months she lost 100 pounds. So we're not, and yeah, it's a lot of weight and that's insane, but she had a game plan that she hit every single day, and she evaluated her goals and she reset new goals and she asked for help. And that's a big one. If you don't know what's the next step, ask for help. Message me or message somebody else and say, hey, look, I need to be held accountable, or I don't know what to do next. I've tried this diet thing and it hasn't quite worked out. So accelerated weight loss, you can do it. It can happen. Follow these steps. Message me for questions. So the next topic we're going to talk about is intermittent fasting. So it's all the rage, and you see it on TV constantly, and you hear your favorite celebrities do it. But it's not anything new. I mean, people have been using fasting for religious purposes and for health benefits for millennia. So we're going to talk a little bit about what is intermittent fasting. So, fasting is the state of sustaining from food and drink that contains calories for an extended amount of time. With intermittent fasting, or the type that I like to suggest for my clients, it is sustaining from food and water, or excuse me, not water, sorry, definitely not water, but liquid-based calorie products for 14 to 16 hours a day for 5 days a week at minimum. You can do it for 7 days if you like, but I normally tell my clients to at least do it 5 days in a row. So during the work week, Monday through Friday, fast, weekends, make smarter decisions with your diet. So what I always normally suggest, depending on your work schedule or your life schedule, is doing an 8 to noon fast. So that means from 8 p.m. at night to noon the next day, you sustain from calories. So real quick, what can you have during your fasting time? Water. I do suggest amino acids, whether it's EAA, which are essential amino acids from First Phorm, or BCAA from First Phorm. The benefits of having amino acids is, people are worried about sometimes that your body might go catabolic, which is a state where it kind of eats itself, and you definitely don't want it to eat your muscle. So the amino acids kind of give a buffer there. Coffee's fine. I even let my clients have a little bit of no sugar sweetener in it. Now I'm talking about just a splash because it does have some fats and other stuff in it, but a splash is fine. I do allow hot tea with Splenda, or just hot tea in general. There's some doctors out there, or nutritionists or dietitians, that say, oh, no, you can't use artificial sweetener during the time period of intermittent fasting because it can have an effect on blood sugar and insulin secretion. However, I'm a little bit more liberal when it comes to that. So 0-calorie items. If you want to put a water enhancer, 0-calorie water enhancer in your bottle of water, that's fine too. But the key is just try to increase your fluids, especially regular water. So a study by Dr. Matson with Johns Hopkins University actually just published on December 26th of 2019, went into really detail on all the benefits of intermittent fasting. He found numerous studies showing how great it was at weight loss itself, and how actually studies showed that it attacked belly fat better than regular calorie restriction diets, which a lot of us are worried about. It also helped lower blood pressure. It helped better regulate cholesterol and triglycerides. It gave you a better resting heart rate, but probably most important was the effects on insulin resistance. So many of my clients that I turn to intermittent fasting typically have some type of, not all of them, but most of them have some type of insulin resistance. So whether it's PCOS, or it's type 2 diabetes, or it's pre-diabetic, we look at intermittent fasting because there's so much science out there that shows the great benefits of regulating blood sugar and helping reverse the symptoms. And I'm not a doctor, so I'm not saying that you can reverse diabetes, although there is studies out there that say you can reverse it by controlling blood sugar and other factors. However, I'll just say that I can help you manage the symptoms of insulin resistance with diet, and intermittent fasting has worked really, really well. So it's going to help keep your blood sugar constant. So when you're not eating for 16 hours, your blood sugar is going to stay stable. It's going to tell your body, hey, look, I don't have a whole lot of sugars floating around the system, which is the body's preferred energy source, so I'm going to attack fat as primary energy. Each pound of fat has 3,500 calories. Trust me, people, you and I and everybody else has enough deposits of energy in our bodies to help us sustain during that 16 hours. 14, 16 hours. Also, one quick other point is the doctor mentioned inflammation. So a lot of us have chronic inflammation in our joints and our bones, and intermittent fasting had a better effect on decreasing inflammation than other calorie-restricted diets, which was very good. I got interested in intermittent fasting after reading the Obesity Code by Dr. Fung early last year, and I have a lot of clients that struggle with infertility. And I have a lot of clients that are diabetic or have insulin resistance issues, including my wife who had PCOS, and we had a little bit of infertility issues. And so I wanted to kind of learn more about intermittent fasting. So I did it myself for 2 months, and I actually really enjoyed it. Now, when you switch your body from intermittent fasting from another style of diet, or any diet at all, or no diet at all, There is a period of time in which our bodies kind of aren't used to it. If you're doing an 8 to noon fast, you're sustaining through breakfast, so you're not eating breakfast. And if you're used to eating breakfast every single day, I say normally it takes 3 days to get used to intermittent fasting. The first 3 days, you may be really hungry during that morning hours. And so I was drinking a lot of coffee and a lot of water. But it seemed like after about the third day, my body was like, cool, okay, I get what's going on now. No big deal. I did see my stomach shrank. I did see more definition in my abs. And a lot of bros out there were saying, well, intermittent fasting is going to kill your gains, bro, because, you're not eating enough, blah, blah, blah. My bench actually went up while I was fasting. Now, I did change up my workout a little bit and was hitting it harder, but if it had that much effect on my muscle composition, then I wouldn't have saw increases in bench press and deadlift. So I wasn't too worried about that after starting it because I was actually seeing results. So I lost a little bit of weight too, which was great. So before I go into how it's helped my clients, here's how I suggest doing an intermittent fasting diet. So if you do the 8 to noon, I have some that do 7 to 11 or 6 to 10, whatever. Just try to find 14 to 16 hours, preferably 16, that you can sustain from food easily. Drink all the water in the world. Just like any diet, I want you to drink at least 100 ounces. It's going to help with appetite suppression when you get hungry, but it's also going to help your metabolism and other great things, get the bloat off, etc. I want you to still hit your protein goals. So here's probably the hardest thing to do about intermittent fasting is you're only eating for 8 hours during the day. So that's not a whole lot of time to eat an excessive amount of protein. So there is some meal planning and meal prepping that has to be done to make sure you give yourself the opportunity. Protein builds muscle, protein increases metabolism, high protein diets help you lose more weight than similar diets of other macronutrients. So the benefits are still there, so you still want to maximize it. I tell my clients to eat at least 80% of their goal body weight in protein. If you're a lady that wants to weigh 150 pounds, that means 120 grams of protein needs to be consumed in only 8 hours. So I normally tell them to suggest beginning and ending your fast with a protein shake. You don't have to drink a protein shake. I prefer level 1 or Formula 1 by First Phorm, but what that does is it gives your body some really high quality protein to begin your day and to end your day. So that way you're preserving muscle and you're feeding your muscle and you're getting some good quality food. I normally suggest still going relatively low carb during a fast. This doesn't mean stay away from whole grains and stuff, but I'm trying to keep you away from simple sugars as much as possible. Yeah, you can have a brownie every once in a while. However, we still want to go relatively lower carb. We don't want to spike up our blood sugar and insulin a whole lot immediately after a fast. So you got to plan your meals accordingly. That's the big thing, because you got to make sure you still hit your protein goals, still hit your water goals, and not go crazy with carbohydrates. So over the summer, after I tested intermittent fasting for myself and I liked it, I grabbed 30 females who struggled with either infertility, PCOS, weight loss, or have been deemed pre-diabetic or diabetes type 2. Now, I'm not a doctor, so this was just a nutrition solution based off of studies that I found that showed some promising areas of symptom relief, whether it was help with weight loss or help with fertility or whatnot. The ages were about 19 to 62, so not everybody was childbearing age. Not everybody wanted to have babies. Some people were postmenopausal. Some surprising things that we found out. 3 of the 30 who were having issues with fertility became pregnant during or immediately after the study. Many of these, including one, had gone 10 years trying and wasn't able to do it. Tried fertility treatments. We changed the diet up. She became pregnant. Now, I understand when you do these type of things, there's a random factor. Doesn't mean necessarily just because she changed her diet, it immediately made her fertile. However, it happened 3 times. So 10% of the group became pregnant. And like I said, not everybody was trying to become fertile, or was having troubles with infertility, or really were trying to get pregnant. Our biggest loser was 30 pounds over 3 months. And she was in her upper 50s. We had multiple 20-pound losers during that time. Many struggled the first few days when it came to intermittent fasting and getting used to it, but after increasing water, and shortly after that 3 or so day period, most of them, I only had 2 people drop out of 30, enjoyed intermittent fasting. Multiple 20-pound losers. Everybody lost weight that was in the study, every single one. I think the lowest weight loss was around 5 pounds. Most was 30. So I'm a big fan of intermittent fasting. Is it ready? Is it for everyone? No diets for anyone. However, if you do struggle with insulin resistance issues, whether it's PCOS or it's diabetes type 2 or pre-diabetic, or you have a lot of family members that struggle with it, and you're like, hey, this is hereditary, and I don't want to be another, diabetic in my family, it might be right for you. Again, I'm not a doctor. I want you to talk to your doctor and say, hey, is IF good for me? And of course, not everybody's going to see the same results. But I think it was really promising that we saw all the weight loss. We saw 3 people get pregnant. And we saw that after a few days struggling with the hunger, it became easy to deal with. And, 7% of the study's participants dropped out. So I had 93% of people stay with it. So, there's a lot of good information out there with intermittent fasting, but there's a lot of good information out there for just weight loss. You're going to have many of the same benefits with any type of weight loss diet that you do, because you are getting the weight off. It's going to help with blood pressure. It's going to help with cholesterol. It's going to help with your heart rate. But it does seem that intermittent fasting does really, really help with the insulin resistance. And it was nice to know that it does attack belly fat better than just regular calorie-restricted diets. So definitely give intermittent fasting a look over and talk to your doctor if it's something that you would like to try. Hey guys, that's the show. Thank you for listening. Make sure if you have any questions, comments, or any new topics you want to discuss, hit me up at nutritiontrain@yahoo.com. Have a good one.